scrambled powdered eggs, gray sausage, and raw waffles, be wary at the hotel's breakfast buffet, for there are serial killers lurking amongst the flakes. Scrambled eggs are one of those breakfast items that you're guaranteed to find at any average hotel buffet, but that doesn't mean you should always add them to your plate. Unfortunately, many hotels use powdered eggs rather than cracking fresh ones to make their scrambles. It's even common for the eggs to be prepared via microwave, which could explain why the eggs at hotel breakfast buffets have that odd texture and never taste as good as the ones you make at home.
She was a bad egg.
Now, there's nothing nutritionally wrong with powdered eggs. They're a solid protein source with a long shelf life. However, anyone who has compared powdered eggs to fresh ones can instantly tell that the powdered ones are seriously lacking in flavor. Another reason not to eat scrambled eggs from the hotel buffet is food poisoning. The FDA recommends that cooked eggs be served immediately after they're prepared. Yet, it's often unclear how long the vat of scrambled eggs has been sitting on the buffet. Eating eggs stored at the wrong temperature is one of the easiest ways to get salmonella poisoning or other foodborne illnesses, which can obviously put a damper on your trip. Ultimately, it's best to avoid the temptation. Thankfully, for those who can't go a morning without their eggs, many breakfast buffets have better egg options that scratch the same itch. It may seem like a small thing, but be sure you avoid slices of lemon meant to add to water or hot tea. When lemons are sliced, it's easy for the peel and flesh to come in contact with many bacteria-laden surfaces, including poorly washed hands, cutting boards, and utensils. It's even worse if the lemons aren't refrigerated, as room temperature air provides optimal grounds for bacteria already present in the food to continue to grow. While you might think the self-serve lemons from the buffet are safe because you're pouring your own drink, those lemons are prepared in a kitchen where they're at the same risk for contamination. Furthermore, other patrons get their lemons from the same vat, which can also lead to the spread of bacteria. And if you think you're safe putting a lemon slice in your drink because it's alcoholic, slow down. Not even straight liquor can kill all of the bad bacteria that could be present on that innocent-looking lemon wedge. Yet another egg dish worth skipping on your next hotel breakfast buffet is any kind of pre-made quiche or egg souffle. Like scrambled eggs, these dishes are often made with those flavorless powdered eggs rather than the real deal. And these sorts of egg dishes suffer from the same risk of foodborne illnesses, especially if they aren't kept at the proper temperature at the buffet table.
Eat quiche every day!
That's not to say that you should never try the quiche at a breakfast place or even a high-quality hotel breakfast, but use good judgment. And if you're at a small bed and breakfast where the spread includes a fresh-baked quiche made with locally sourced ingredients, it's probably safe and delicious. But if you're at a massive breakfast buffet with too many items for the staff to properly monitor, beware. That's probably not the best place for your next quiche Lorraine. Yogurt is undoubtedly a healthy choice for your first meal of the day, but as a hotel guest, you should think twice before whipping up a parfait from the breakfast buffet. It's usually a safe bet to grab a single-serving yogurt cup to accompany the rest of your morning meal, and many hotels opt for a small refrigerator of yogurt cups to help prevent food waste, but steer clear of any communal vats of yogurt that every guest can put their hands in. Done right, yogurt is full of good bacteria that promotes gut health. Done wrong, however, it can grow bad bacteria that can then cause foodborne illness, especially if it's left out at room temperature for more than 2 hours. You can't be sure how buffet food was handled before it got to the table, so it's a good idea to avoid questionable dairy from a less than stellar breakfast buffet. It's hard for most meat eaters to resist the aroma of bacon and sausage cooking in the morning. The temptation is real, but seasoned travelers suggest skipping breakfast bar meat options altogether. For one, buffet breakfast meat tends to be disappointing, as it's often overcooked and underflavored. Additionally, since that meat is likely bought in bulk, who knows how long it sat in the hotel freezer before it made its way to your breakfast plate. In 2021, a former hotel worker from Tennessee, Brandy Augustus, went viral for exposing the horrors of the breakfast buffet, and the quality of the meat was a major talking point. In one TikTok video, Augustus said, "Sausage is not supposed to be gray. Stop eating gray sausage." So when you're staring down breakfast meat on the hotel buffet, take a second to consider the vibe. If you get a bad feeling, it's probably best to trust your gut. A hotel buffet with guest-operated waffle makers is always intriguing. Hungry breakfast patrons might be tempted to DIY fresh waffles and load them with toppings. But the idea can be better in theory than in practice. First of all, the waffle-making station can be cutthroat. Some guests will inevitably hog the iron to make waffles for their entire table while you wait for a turn. And the shadiest guests can easily snag your waffle while you load up on butter and syrup.
Hey, let go of my ankle!
But waffle larceny aside, some hotel workers suggest that you not trust the raw batter set out next to the waffle iron. Some claim that new batter gets mixed in with the old to make it appear fresh.
That waffle batter don't get made every day. That waffle batter gets reused until it starts to smell like beer.
If that makes your stomach turn, then it's best to skip the waffle line altogether the next time you scope out the hotel breakfast bread. Most hotel breakfast buffets have some kind of fresh fruit available, and it's never a bad idea to add it to your plate. Whether it's a pre-cut fruit salad or whole bananas and apples, you can't go wrong starting your day off with nutrient-dense fruit. Then there's the travel element, as whole fruits like apples or bananas are easy to slip into your bag for a snack during your travels.
Shh. Go ahead, take those bananas.
Additionally, it's becoming popular for hotel breakfast buffets to present fresh juice options, sometimes even made to order. If you're lucky enough to stumble on a juice bar at your hotel, a fresh glass is a great option. Moreover, for those who are traveling to tropical locations, the fruit is often more fresh and flavorful than the stuff you're used to buying at your local grocery store, which makes it well worth a spot on your plate. Many of the most beloved hotel breakfast buffets in the world have some form of a made-to-order egg station as part of the breakfast experience. The omelet station is a great way to make sure that you're eating fresh eggs. The eggs are likely cracked right in front of you. Whether you order a loaded omelet or over easy, this is a protein-packed way to start your day that's cooked exactly the way you like it. Another plus to the omelet station is the personal interaction. You're face-to-face with the chef, which is a great opportunity for striking up a conversation. It can be a rare chance to talk with a food-knowledgeable local who may have some truly unique, under-the-radar recommendations to make your vacation even more memorable. The display of bread options at most average hotel breakfast buffets is usually enough to entice anyone into toasting up a carby treat to kick off the day. Whether it's French bread, English muffins, bagels, or any number of pastries, the options are usually expansive. Bread can also serve quite well as a vehicle for other buffet ingredients. But why stop with buttered toast or a bagel and cream cheese? These are reliable staples, but the bread section is prime for creativity. An entry-level breakfast buffet hack is to make a breakfast sandwich. Choose your bread, then pile it high with whatever's fresh and handy. Maybe load it up with peanut butter and banana slices. You might even try smashed avocado and eggs. What you craft largely depends on the hotel offerings, which is why it's a good idea to scope out the entire buffet before making your breakfast selection. Also, try double toasting whatever you add to the toaster. Hotel appliances are notorious for being underpowered, so remember that it might take a little patience to get your bagel perfectly crisp. Tea bags are another hotel breakfast staple that often get overlooked, especially when they're placed next to more flashy items on the buffet. However, the coffee and tea station is an often underutilized aspect of the breakfast buffet that deserves more praise. Depending on the hotel, the selection can include dozens of different teas as a caffeinated or caffeine-free herbal kickoff to your day. The individually wrapped single servings also make the process more sanitary and customizable than a communal pot of coffee. With a little patience and skill, you can even create chai tea lattes or iced tea and lemonade combinations to wash down your morning meal. But is it socially acceptable to steal food from the hotel buffet for later? It might be a bit over the top if you bring in Tupperware and Ziploc bags to smuggle out a full meal. But no one will think twice if you slip a couple of tea bags into your pocket. It could be worth it to make a comforting beverage in your room long after the buffet has closed. Oatmeal is an underrated hero of the hotel breakfast buffet. It's a humble classic that gets a bad rap for being boring, but it just needs a little spicing up to change your mind. Many chefs who travel say they always go for the oatmeal because it's healthy, it keeps you full for a while, and it's endlessly customizable. Oatmeal can be sweet or savory for one, and the possibilities are only limited by what's on offer at the buffet. You can spice up oatmeal with fruit, nuts, eggs, vegetables, and almost any condiment. For example, try making a simple peanut butter and banana bowl. Many people who choose to eat oatmeal for its health benefits recommend loading it with peanut butter or even protein powder to up the nutrient intake. And we eat with our eyes first, so be sure to spend some time making an aesthetically pleasing bowl for an added bit of brightness to start your day. Also, you can easily grab some oatmeal packets to bring to your room for later, or even make DIY overnight oats in your room's mini refrigerator. It's always a good idea to add any regional dishes offered at your hotel breakfast to your plate. Whether it's a European cheese or a savory porridge, the breakfast dishes on offer at the average hotel buffet can be a great first step toward understanding the local culture. Sure, some people might be locked into the ritual of morning eggs or oatmeal to start their day.
Good morning, Pee-wee! Good morning, Mr. Breakfast!
But when on a vacation, take care to treat yourself to a local pastry or an unfamiliar piece of fruit. We suggest being even more adventurous and trying out delicacies that may not be standard hotel breakfast buffet fare, like a hearty stew. The low-stakes activity of meandering from your room to the lobby for breakfast also helps kickstart your day with ease. You don't have to coordinate transportation or make reservations at a local breakfast spot to sample the flavors of your destination. Often, you can simply go downstairs, maybe even still in your pajamas, and enjoy a stress-free meal before a hectic travel day. In fact, some hotels across the world are so well known for the local cuisine featured on their breakfast buffets that it's the sole reason travelers choose to stay there. Looking to eat it all in every state? Make sure to stop at these buffets on your next road trip. In the heart of Dixie, Martha is in charge of home cooking. Southern hospitality starts with a free soft drink and ends with plenty of room for seconds or thirds. Martha's main dishes fill trays on an alternating menu. Tuesday features chicken and dumplings, and Thursday brings liver and onions. Fried chicken is piled high every day of the week. This all-you-can-eat smorgasbord of soul food is accompanied by the restaurant's award-winning collard greens. The Call of the Wild led us towards all-you-can-eat salmon piled high on an alder wood-fired grill in Juneau. The night starts with a bowl of clam chowder and a walk through the beer tent before you settle into the festivities, which include live music. Several local tour groups run day trips that end the adventure at the salmon bake. No matter what night you dine, roaring waterfalls set the mood, and the river provides great ambiance 24/7. Govinda's Natural Foods Buffet offers a colorful setting, an exotic bird sanctuary, and bright Indian dishes powered by freshly ground spices and vegetarian ingredients. It has provided Tucson with gourmet vegetarian cuisine since 1992 and is still committed to improvement. The current menu advertises a goal of sourcing organic vegetables from a garden plot next door. Govinda's even does vegan nights on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Some Sundays, you get a musical mantra meditation and discussions on transcendental Vedic philosophy. The restaurant also invites you to eat free on Krishna Fest, a day of drama and fire shows. Fat Chance doesn't have much of an internet presence, probably because it's too busy frying frogs' legs. That hasn't stopped the catering company and buffet from building a dedicated local following that's clamoring for stuffed crab. The Buffet King of DeQueen, Arkansas, has a legendary local menu. Offerings span from catfish to chicken strips, always served with heaping piles of boiled or fried shrimp.
Hey, George, the ocean called. They're running out of shrimp.
California is full of great sushi options, but Hikari's all-you-can-eat menu sets itself apart through a list of rolls that span several pages. Enjoy limitless quantities of Mexicali avocado-topped rolls, Chatsworth rolls that combine sashimi and avocado, and a selection of no-rice rolls that help you get your fill of fresh fish. The wide-ranging unlimited menu includes everything from quail egg shooters to edamame and popcorn shrimp. Colorado's Kathmandu restaurant provides heaping piles of authentic Nepalese food. The restaurant's quality is evidenced by its wide-ranging selection of awards, including Best Indian Food in Boulder and Best Restaurant in Netherlands. Kathmandu's success is built on the back of its authentic flavor. Head to the buffet lineup to scoop your Northern Indian and Himalayan delicacies and expect to find fresh naan waiting for you when you return to the table.
I had naan.
Banana Brazil Grill spruces its meat with charcoal imported from Brazil, a key detail that highlights this restaurant's commitment to traditional Brazilian steakhouse practices. These steakhouses are inspired by churrasco chomping gauchos, and unlimited skewers of chicken, pork, beef, and ribs have made waves all the way up in Connecticut. Banana Brazil has 4 locations in the state and a menu that goes well beyond the picanha. A well-stocked salad bar, fried plantains, and even okra are common sightings on plates overloaded with international flavor. The Olds Mill Crab House provides 4 fresh all-you-can-eat options that escalate exponentially. The entry-level option is called Del Marvelous Fried Chicken and comes with fried chicken and shrimp, hush puppies, clam strips, and corn on the cob. Start to build some steam by adding steamed shrimp to the ensemble, a taste so tempting that passionate fans drive 3+ hours for a biannual all-you-can-eat bonanza. And if that's not quite enough to fill your plate, you can upgrade to the 2 most luxurious options, featuring snow and/or blue crabs. Head to Disney's Animal Kingdom with an appetite and dine under thatched roofs in this African market-themed experience. As a buffet inside a family-friendly resort, Boma casts a wide net to provide unlimited portions of everyone's favorites. There are items from over 50 African countries, inviting adventurous eaters to try baboti while offering safer bets like mac and cheese so that everyone leaves full. The Old Times Country Buffet is a love letter to traditional Southern cooking, providing a safe space to sample all sorts of American classics. There's a saying on the wall inside of this establishment: Southern cookin' makes you good lookin'. Every time we see another full plate of fried okra departing the queue, we can't help but agree. Around these parts, they call it Georgia popcorn and practically serve it by the bushel. And banana pudding is always a sign of a good time on a Southern menu. With a 3-hour show, tour, and feast, nobody turns unlimited plates into an entire evening quite like the Toa Luau. You've got to bring a bit extra to the table to be considered the best all-you-can-eat in a state like Hawaii. This Samoan-influenced luau starts with a splash and a swim in the tropical rivers of Waimea Valley before settling into a 3-hour educational display. It's a stunning example of what a Hawaiian luau is really like, capped off with an umu pig roast and hand-woven baskets stuffed with sides. Stockman's banquet menu features 6 great buffet options, but you don't need to rent out the whole space to eat it all. The state's best steakhouse has all-you-can-eat sirloin steak that pairs well with Idaho potatoes, which can be mashed, loaded, baked, garlicky, or fried with Parmesan. Each endless steak order comes with your choice of 2 sides. So while you could always double up on mashed potatoes and gravy, strategically speaking, you might want to opt for grilled onions to save stomach space for sirloin.
I'd rather have a steak in. Like a sirloin steak in me, that is.
The Red Apple is the happy result of a Polish immigration story. The acclaimed all-you-can-eat buffet provides unlimited portions with a handmade touch. Whether you're homesick or curious, there is no better way to taste home-style Polish food than by heading to the Red Apple for its weekend buffet. The restaurant even keeps the fridge stocked with Polish beer to complete the experience. Stoll's Lakeview Buffet takes the traditional flavor from Amish country and heads down south into Martin County. The buffet serves cuisine from Amish strongholds in Elkhart and LaGrange counties in a building on West Bog Lake in Lagoti. An unlimited supply of Amish comfort food makes for a smashing success, and the buffet is the #1 rated restaurant in Lagoti on TripAdvisor. While the proprietors aren't afraid to embrace modern technology to keep the buffet running, the unique restaurant hasn't been redecorated since the 1980s. While the Hibachi Grill and Supreme Buffet sits hundreds of people, you still might have to wait for a table on a Sunday night. Once you sit, the real fun begins. On one side of the restaurant, professional chefs flip shrimp and dazzle at the Hibachi Grill. On the other, over 250 buffet choices lead to a lifetime's worth of dinner combinations. 10 different stands run the gamut of sushi, steaks, seafood, and mashed potatoes. The epic space features chandeliers and floral arrangements above each buffet table and is well suited for large groups to dine together. This strip mall standout takes home several Wichita Eagle Readers' Choice Awards every year, claiming the top spot in 5 classes in 2019. The Eagles readers voted by the plateful, nominating and awarding the establishment for the best lunch, best Chinese, best locally owned, and best pho, all underneath one green chandelier. It also marked 4 years of dominance as the best all-you-can-eat buffet. 2 years later, Buffet City claimed the title of Best Family Restaurant, reaching the top of the charts in 6 categories. One buffet restaurant sweeping awards like that in the largest city in Kansas deserves recognition. Yoki Buffet stocks fresh blue crab and seafood options that lead to a second look and a third helping. If you can make it past the stacks of crab legs, sushi, and halved hamburgers with some space on your plate, fill it with freshly stir-fried specials at the Hibachi Grill. Yoki Buffet even passed the ultimate test: teenagers. A YouTube reviewer brought his picky high schooler who doesn't like Chinese food, but the whole family sat down with big smiles and full plates. You can't just walk into the Court of Two Sisters. Stomp, sway, and strut your way to your seat and enjoy a jazz brunch in New Orleans' French Quarter. 7 days a week, live music accompanies an all-you-can-eat display, Louisiana style. The menu offers rare opportunities for improvisation, like coating breakfast pastries in a chicken and sausage gumbo for a Creole twist on biscuits and gravy. Time your entrance right, and you can sample both the breakfast and lunch-only options. A changing of the guard at 11:30 replaces breakfast classics like scrambled eggs and hash browns with lunch options like pasta primavera and shrimp etouffee. Harriseket Inn serves as a great home base for a shopping trip to the famous Freeport outlets for 2 reasons: a walkable location and an A+ breakfast buffet. The inn provides an endless breakfast selection that's open to the public and is known to mark special occasions with loaded Sunday brunches. Hit up Freeport for Mother's Day weekend to catch some sales and munch on unlimited Hawks lobster on the half shell. Hooper's Crab House works differently, with a wide-ranging a la carte section, including a Lil Hooper Troopers Kids menu to offer meals for all stomach sizes. Anyone just wanting a salad doesn't have to pay full price, while everyone else can crack unlimited crab. The all-you-can-eat experience consists of 5 key dishes: steamed crabs, steamed shrimp, Hooper's fried chicken, corn on the cob, and hush puppies. Add on Hooper's Stadium Cup special and enjoy $4 refills of draft beers for as long as you keep putting back shrimp. Hot Pot Buffet preps 4 different broths and a page-long list of meat and veggie options for endless combinations. Perhaps most enticing are the hours. Steaming pots are on from 2 p.m. until 2 a.m. Nothing fills your belly after a long cold night in the Northeast like unlimited hot broth. Legend has it that Hot Pot also has a pretty serious secret menu. With a little research, or perhaps someone in the know, you might gain access to more choices. Step through the doors and stop by the lobster tank to decide if you'd like to add a live lobster to the already wide-ranging buffet. Even if you say no to crustaceans, you'll have an aisle full of fresh fish to scoop in the sushi section alone. The selection of sea creatures runs deep, slowly transitioning from fresh sushi to fried and steamed options like oysters, mussels, crab legs, and peel-your-own crawfish. Fuji fills out its offerings with a decadent kimchi and seafood salad stand and a steamer station featuring chicken feet. Mama Sheila's House of Soul is lined with art pieces and memorabilia gathered to celebrate soul music legends. Start your evening face-to-face with Prince and spend your time digesting the history displayed on this buffet's walls. Mama Sheila's decor sets the ambiance while her food brings the heat. This northern stronghold of Southern-style home cooking is known for its home-style mac and cheese. Another must-try is the smothered or buffalo-style fried chicken options, which are sent to soak in finger-licking hotel pans filled with sauce. The Sun Herald polled 120,000 readers to discover their favorite casino buffet. The Palace dominated from start to finish, garnering more than 74% of the vote in the final round. Perhaps the secret to the buffet's large fan base is its wide-ranging station selection. The restaurant serves up dinner with 4 cooking stations that turn the all-you-can-eat offerings up a notch. Cooks prepare made-to-order dishes at the Flames, Coastal, and Asian stations, while the Comfort Department offers up Southern classics. Branson, Missouri attracts visitors with affordably priced excess of all varieties, and Grand Country Inn stands above the crowd. The hotel has a water park, big banjos, unlimited bacon in the morning, and a pizza buffet all night, all accompanied by a spread that slowly changes throughout the day. Trays are filled with fresh fruits and coffee mugs in the morning, while roasts spend the day slowly cooking before reaching dinner plates. Like any great home-style meal, finish this one with space for a heaping helping of dessert. This humble buffet recently received new owners who have proven they don't mind cooking things to order during slower days. The location used to be known as L&D Buffet and enjoyed a brief run as Red Sugar Dim Sum before turning into Golden Chinese Buffet. The new joint earned its place on our list with a stellar combination of steaming piles of Chinese food and story after story of customer service excellence. Valentino's has more than 30 locations spread across Nebraska. 5 of those stores operate as Grand Italian buffets, with 75 different Italian and American classics one scoop away. Every trip to the Grand Italian Buffet is highlighted by the pizza bar, where you can stack your plate high with your favorite toppings, homemade crust, and Valentino's secret sauce. You'll also find Italian home-style dishes, American favorites, and dessert pizza.
Valentino's, they didn't stop with pizza.
The immaculate execution of Bacchanal Buffet's dishes has earned the restaurant international recognition as one of the most extensive buffets in Las Vegas. Sin City is the American capital of excess, with a strip full of luxurious casinos and all-you-can-eat options. A few staggering numbers help the Bacchanal Buffet stand out. The spread stretches across 25,000 square feet of restaurant space, cooked across 10 different kitchens and 9 live cooking stations. This buffet specializes in absolutely everything, from a ceviche bar to Wagyu hot dogs and a made-to-order crepe bar. You have 90 minutes to enjoy an entire world of flavor. Combining Chinese and Japanese into Gorham's finest celebration of self-service, this Dynasty Buffet consistently ranks as the best Asian cuisine in town. A wide-ranging menu of Asian hits keeps customers coming back for more plates, and the restaurant keeps things fresh with special holiday menus. Celebrate Mother's and Father's Day with items like cheese sticks and roasted ham that bring a more American flavor to the mix. No matter when you head in, wash down your meal with new bubble milk tea options to further captivate your taste buds. Atlantic City followed Las Vegas's blueprint in the dining department to come up with its own range of absurdly populated buffets. Sitting at the top of the leaderboards is the Borgata Buffet. Borgata entertains with an immense all-you-can-eat seafood selection, but the wide-ranging spread consists of much more than fried saltwater creatures. You can fill plate after plate with Italian, Asian, and American cuisine, but save some room to sample one of the best dessert bars in the city. Since 2002, the Tomato Cafe has put leftovers to good use, donating over 500,000 pounds of hot food that feeds the hungry. When you're down on your luck, any meal is a good one, but a robust penne topped with green chile Alfredo sauce is just about as good as it gets. This buffet scales things down a touch from typical smorgasbord arrays to further prevent food waste. Pick between your favorite toppings on a table full of hand-tossed pizzas and build your own pasta combos with a hearty soup, salad, and appetizer selection to fill out the plate. The Big Apple is home to some of the absolute best American restaurants in the US. Turns out, it's also home to plenty of folks who like their crab legs, and many of them choose to dine at the Crab House. Don't let the name fool you. There's plenty more than crab in the house tonight. Ranging from choices like crawfish and garlic shrimp to baby back ribs and broccoli and brown sauce, the Crab House cooks an unlimited supply of seafood and meat, all at a flat rate. A splash of extra cash opens up the Lobster Buffet, which is everything on the menu plus 4 fresh takes on lobster. Casey's Buffet uses the whole pig, from feet to chitlins, with plenty of pulled pork. Crispy fried pork chops are Saturday special, but if you want them any day of the week, just ask. The pork is served up in every way you could imagine, and Casey is just getting started. With 20 veggie and side options, fill your plate with down-home favorites like mac and cheese and boiled rutabaga. Grandma Sharon has long since retired, but the hot plate stays on. Her daughter has taken over the family restaurant, serving chicken fried steak to Williston for over 35 years. The community culture inside those hallowed halls is reinforced by employees who have been around for decades. Business is also booming thanks to Pasta Bar Wednesdays and weekend buffets. A balanced brunch spread provides an extensive salad bar, bacon and sausage piled high, and a home-style swath of fried goodness. On its quest to create the best Columbus-style pizza in the city, Massey's provides one heck of a lunch buffet experience. The thin crust and edge-to-edge toppings are a joy to down at an unlimited quantity. Massey's is a pizza pioneer around these parts that lets you fill out your plate with more than tomatoey cheesy goodness. The sneaky winners of this lunch buffet are the bite-sized Italian subs, and gluten-free all-you-can-eaters will love the cauliflower crusts. Whether you call it Berta's Mexican Cafe, Berta's Tacos, or Berta's Buffet, you're at home here. The restaurant has all 3 signs out front, and inside, it serves a genuinely authentic Mexican feast that's only over when you say it is. This humble buffet doesn't have the over 250 choices some grand casinos offer, but it does more with less. Across from the fried tacos and refried beans is a surprising lineup of vegetarian dishes, pizza rolls, and pasta. But the best part about Berta's is the inconsistency. You'll find a surprise ingredient or new entree, as every lunch brings a slightly different menu del dia. The Hug Grill Buffet starts with a steaming basket of dumplings before slowly rolling into an Asian seafood extravaganza. Peruse the piles of spicy meats and vegetables, help yourself to some fried crab and steamed oyster, and brace yourself for a killer noodle selection. You can build your own bowl and hand it off to the chef, who prepares a piping hot noodle soup on the spot. While waiting for your soup, select a few slices of choice sashimi to finish your first plate. Billed as the county's largest smorgasbord, the shade of this maple covers 200 feet of Pennsylvania Dutch cooking. Including the drink station, it can take about 7 full minutes to walk through the buffet and name each item. That's a whole lot of old country cooking to sample. There's even mush, a Pennsylvanian boiled corn specialty. The restaurant sits an hour outside downtown Philadelphia, but this immense spread and the down-home flavor make it worth the drive. This buffet goes gourmet on every plate, demanding consideration as one of the top buffets in the whole country. A Haagen-Dazs ice cream bar with all the fixings immediately jumps out. But first, you have to get your fill of unlimited lobster and the decadent raw bar. Chefs at the Nordic Lodge can tell you the full name of the farmer who sources the restaurant's oysters. It's no easy feat to source locally when you're shucking between 1,000 and 2,000 oysters a night. But the Nordic doesn't do easy, it does fresh. That goes double for the lobster, displayed live in a large holding tank and boiled with the rubber band still on.
You have the physique of Atlas. Thanks, I work out.
Benjamin's Calabash Seafood and its signature lighthouse are local landmarks, feeding beachgoers 170 different items since 1986. This is the oldest and largest buffet in a beach town that welcomes over 19 million visitors annually. That all adds up to a whole lot of crab legs. Benjamin's isn't one of those all-you-can-eats that encourage quick turnover. You can send the kids to the Nautical Museum and arcade while you head back for another plate. The Silverado Franklin brings a Las Vegas-style buffet experience to Deadwood. Las Vegas style means more, and the Silverado Grand Buffet happily obliges with bountiful roasts, wood-fired pizza, made-to-order pasta, and a cohesive salad and dessert bar. Things get cranked up a notch on Friday and Saturday nights, when the buffet offers all-you-can-crack crab legs and unlimited prime rib. You can put your winnings to good use or soften the blow of your losses with some comfort food at this extreme casino buffet. Brookshaw's Old Country Store is one of the absolute best buffets in the U.S., providing an all-you-can-eat helping of Southern soul food. Stroll through Casey Jones's historic shop, where thousands of authentic Southern antiques are on display. Then head back for more smoked barbecue bologna and hot tamale pie. The buffet also offers 14 to 15 vegetables daily, or 16 if you count the crackling cornbread. In the land of hot chili and Texas toast, Demasi's is an all-you-can-eat opportunity to tap into the Blue Zone diet. This Mediterranean buffet has healthier items than most smorgasbords, featuring piles of colorful rice dishes and fresh takes on chickpeas. But it's not all healthy foods, with a few solid fried chicken and soft serve options to treat yourself. No matter what kinds of meats or legumes you're piling on your plate, you can chow down, knowing the food at Demasi's is made from scratch, with handmade bread baked in a brick oven daily. Chuckarama is closing in on 60 years of access thanks to a groundswell of local support. After the pandemic shut down self-service, loyal fans patiently waited and consistently checked in with the restaurant for its reopening date. The popular establishment has carved out its abundant place at the head of the buffet table thanks to heaps and loads of kid-friendly choices for picky eaters and local legends like deep-fried Utah scones and frog eye salad. The Essex Junction Grand Buffet blends Chinese classics with fresh sushi and home-style Americana to fill every plate that walks through the door with joy. For Thanksgiving 2022, the Grand Buffet prepped 8 fresh turkeys, showing the restaurant's ability to create new dishes and adapt the menu for special occasions. A great way to digest is with hot tea, which is always free at this Grand Buffet. The story of Captain George's is the story of the American dream. It started with humble beginnings and ended with 30,000 pounds of crab legs served weekly. The buffet has slowly built up its entree selections to include over 20 steamed, fried, and smoked options from land and sea. Captain George also invested significant effort into the dessert department. There are 14 different sugary ways to end your meal, all homemade and presented on the buffet bar in infinite quantities. Unlike most all-you-can-eat sushi options that hide the specialty rolls behind higher price points, you'll have everlasting access to almost the complete menu at Trapper's. The lunch special provides 34 types of sushi, including several great vegetarian options and the epic Mount Rainier roll. For a few extra bucks, you can upgrade to the all-you-can-eat dinner menu, which expands the available rolls and adds a healthy selection of nigiri, along with appetizers like pot stickers. It's the greatest all-you-can-eat sushi option in a state full of fresh fish. The Rio de Grill Brazilian Steakhouse is waiting at the end of winding country roads with plenty of hot meat and a great discount if you only want to access the salad bar. While the freshly grilled pineapple flows like the Shenandoah River, you really shouldn't come here just to sample the Caesar. Upgrade to tableside meat and take advantage of a two-tone table fixture. Flip it to green, and servers routinely stop off with fresh hunks of meat until you wave the white flag and turn your table back to red.
I couldn't eat another bite! Well, maybe one more bite!
The North Country Steak Buffet provides endless sirloin steak and sirloin burgers all day, every day. Each steak comes with your choice of baked potato, hash browns, and homemade chips. Your purchase also includes access to daily menu specials, a full hot buffet, a taco bar, salads, and plenty of desserts. This restaurant made Tasting Table's list of the country's best buffets thanks to its shockingly low price. Unlimited sirloin here will cost you less than a 12-ounce ribeye at many steakhouses. Smack dab in the middle of the rodeo capital of the Cowboy State, a whole lot of history and rib roast come together to create an unforgettable trip, or 3 to the buffet bar. The Irma Hotel is listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and it takes that designation seriously. You'll enjoy seafood, potatoes, desserts, and plenty of prime rib among taxidermied game animals and artifacts from the state's rough and tumble history.
Not waking up for free Coffee Mate packets? There's breakfast, and then there's breakfast. Stale bagels to piping hot waffles, we're ranking hotel breakfasts from no way to #YesBay. Drury Inn & Suites nabs last place thanks to being one of the top results when you search worst hotel breakfast. As one hospitality pro Redditor explained, the Drury has probably the worst breakfast. The waffles are of poorer quality. The eggs are also very low quality. Over on TripAdvisor, a user noted that they got a decent sleep, but the bad breakfast totally killed the good vibes. Everything in there tasted stale. Biscuits were old and the sausage was nasty. This should be called Dreary Inn.
Will my room make me feel pampered like a princess in a fairy tale, Julie?
I hope not. Days Inn is known for its super cheap rates, but the breakfast quality is also reflected in the price. Yes, your first meal is included, but as one TripAdvisor fan noted, a free breakfast was possibly the worst we've ever experienced. They claimed there were bread, bagels, and a toaster, but nothing besides butter. And the cereal featured no milk, while a small fridge labeled cheese omelet revealed cheese slices and 2 hard-boiled eggs. Another reviewer noted at their location the toaster was broken, as well as the juice machine. All part of an incomplete breakfast. Another one of Wyndham's lineup, Super 8's breakfast isn't much better. One reviewer on TripAdvisor explained that there were 0 hot options, noting, "The breakfast was the worst I've seen at a hotel. Yogurt, cereal, bread, still in the bag that everyone has to put their hands in. Muffins, pre-made waffles, and apples, and brown spotted bananas." Free breakfast is probably better than no breakfast, but don't hit up this hotel for a nourishing meal. When it comes to extended stay America, some locations don't offer breakfast at all, and those that do look dismal. As one person noted of the assorted granola bars and oatmeal fixings, an oatmeal bar is not breakfast. At a budget hotel, we might expect some cut corners, but we agree with one reviewer who recalled, "I feel that for the price we paid, we could have stayed somewhere much nicer. Maybe someplace that served an actual breakfast." Econo Lodge reviews detail questionable eggs, flavorless gravy, and terrible coffee.
And the Easy Starts Continental Breakfast starts at 6 a.m.
Free?
Absolutely.
One reviewer claimed that the breakfast was inedible, calling out dry scrambled eggs and an orange juice machine that dispensed only water. The reviewer added, "It was the worst breakfast bar I have ever seen. I think if the health department were to do an inspection, it would definitely be rated F." It appears that Choice Hotels doesn't exactly have the best reputation when it comes to breakfast. One brand loyalist posted on TripAdvisor, "They had something, but it wasn't edible breakfast. And I particularly loved the orange-colored water. I think it was supposed to pretend to be orange juice."
It's free. Can't beat free.
Another reviewer noted that the quality of the food didn't reflect the price of the room at their Comfort Inn location, adding, "When you pay your hotel room close to $300 US, you expect a little bit more than the awful, low-quality breakfast that they serve you. This was terrible and unacceptable at this price level." Ever wondered what the difference is between a regular Holiday Inn and a Holiday Inn Express? Well, Holiday Inn generally features a restaurant that may serve breakfast for an additional charge. Holiday Inn Express, on the other hand, offers a free breakfast area.
Impressive.
Still, Holiday Inn Express boasts a variety of early morning options, from toast and cereal to a full hot meal. Their offerings vary by location, but will generally include some sort of egg, meat, and their one-of-a-kind stack station that churns out a piping hot pancake in just 1 minute. And that settles it. Whatever magic is behind this machine, it makes Holiday Inn Express worth the trip every time. Marriott is known for their higher-end hotels, but even though the Residence Inn features kitchenettes in most guest rooms, you can easily head to the lobby to scoop up everything from eggs and bacon to fruit, yogurt, and cheese. Residence Inn also offers a coffee bar, as well as a variety of tea options. And many locations also serve a happy hour with small bites in the late afternoon. To get the most bang for your buck, book the Residence Inn and soak up all the treats included with your stay. Embassy Suites offers something for everyone at their breakfast bar. As one happy reviewer noted, the buffet section is fairly extensive with selections of pastries and other breakfast standard items, but the made-to-order omelet bar is excellent.
I don't want to go overboard, so I guess I'll just have 12 omelets.
Along with yogurt, fresh fruit, coffee, and eggs, most Embassy suites also boast a custom omelet station. Want only egg whites? You've got it. Fully vegetarian? Done. Want to stuff it full of every item imaginable? Easy. The options are endless at this breakfast bar. The Hampton Inn offers an amazing breakfast, and almost every location features a fan-favorite self-serve waffle maker. The brand announced a revamp of the waffle station in 2019, noting, Hampton's classic malted vanilla waffle is now joined by 4 new mouth-watering flavors, including blueberry, chocolate, banana bread, and cinnamon roll, available in regular and mini sizes on a rotating schedule.
Slay. That's hot. Loves it. Yas. It's living.
Whether you want to enjoy a tall, short stack of waffles, hot scrambled eggs and bacon, or a Greek yogurt smoothie, the Hampton Inn's got you covered. While Hyatt Place doesn't always offer a standard breakfast buffet, some unique options make them stand out. Depending on the day and location, guests can choose from breakfast sandwiches, made-to-order omelets, and an oatmeal bar. As of 2018, they also offered French toast, a hot commodity in the hotel breakfast world.
This place is just right.
In 2017, the chain also announced a customizable breakfast bowl with options like eggs, sausage, potatoes, and gravy. They also offer yogurt parfaits and steel-cut oats. What the Hyatt Place sacrifices in quantity, they definitely make up for in quality. Nabbing the top spot on our list, Homewood Suites Breakfast Buffet really came to play. It's not necessarily free or even cheap, but the options are anything but boring. You'll find the usual eggs and bacon, along with reindeer sausage and jumbo cinnamon rolls. One TripAdvisor reviewer claimed, "The highlight of this day is definitely the breakfast. There was staff that constantly refilled all the breakfast stations and wiped down every corner. Food was fresh, even the fresh fruits."
This bacon is so good, Scott.
You think the bacon's good? Here, try the eggs.
When someone says breakfast was the highlight of their stay, you've got to believe them. And then get yourself the biggest plate you can find.
The cold baths might be free-flowing at your favorite buffet, but could they actually be a trap set to trick you into spending more and eating less? All that meat and piles of pastries are technically ours for the taking. But how do buffets make money if everything is up for grabs? Despite the illusion of unlimited food, buffets ensure that nothing on the menu is truly ours by manipulating our sense of control and influencing our decisions. Of course, it's important to eat what you enjoy, and buffets give you the chance to choose your favorite foods. But in order for a buffet to be profitable, their job is to fill our bellies as quickly as they can by steering our gullible mouths towards the most filling options, while discouraging the more expensive dishes. Next time you visit a buffet, look at how the salads and sides are presented in generous proportions, while that succulent lamb roast is carefully supervised by a server at the carving station. By seeming to restrict the availability of costlier items while making sure the filling food is served in excess, buffets can make us fuller more quickly, saving money in the process.
I told you, the buffet, man.
Boy, did we do the wrong thing.
Crab legs, shrimp, potato.
Don't blame the masterminds behind buffets for how stuffed you are halfway through dinner. The true culprits may be right in your hands. If you observe the serving utensils at a buffet, you'll notice that oversized spoons are often used for cost-efficient, filling foods, like vegetables, while tiny tongs are sometimes reserved for more expensive options like meat. Even your plates and bowls may be intentionally downsized, a characteristic of a secret buffet line of standard equipment. Smaller plates, though they stop you from grabbing more than you can eat, encourage multiple trips to the buffet, creating the illusion of being fuller despite taking smaller portions. Another tactic that buffets employ is how to slow your eating pace with carefully chosen utensils. For example, those smaller forks make you eat more slowly, which ultimately makes you full faster. And chopsticks, which are more challenging to handle unless you're an expert, are made readily available instead of silverware at Asian buffets. Most buffet layouts are meticulously designed to guide our decisions. Cheaper, more filling options such as vegetables and rice are strategically positioned at the beginning of the buffet. A salad bar may also stand in your way, tempting you to load your plate with inexpensive yet substantial salads, soups, or bread. This specific layout is designed to make it harder to resist these items and easier to overeat them.
Open your eyes, Clyde. Don't you see what's going on here? The buffet's rigged.
No
Clyde.
way.
They got cheap product up here at the front.
No.
And meanwhile, the big ticket items are here right at the back.
Not only that, but the big guns like steaks, seafood, and expensive desserts are usually at the end of the buffet line, sparingly served and concealed by cheaper fare. Some buffets only bring them out once every customer's hunger has subsided and they're too full to eat. Occasionally, they may advertise delicacies but hide them so effectively that they might as well not be available at all. We all know that buffets are successful because of the vast variety of food available. However, the multitude of options is also a tactic to lead us to feel full faster. As human beings, we are naturally drawn to new experiences and flavors, and buffets are designed to trigger our instinct to try as many things as we can. There will always be something that will appeal to almost anyone at buffets, and even picky eaters may be tempted to try new foods out of curiosity. This plays perfectly into the buffet strategy of encouraging us to continuously refill our plates with a little bit of everything until we unknowingly become too full. Moreover, the wide range of colors, aromas, and textures stimulates our appetite, making us more excited to experience the dishes and more likely to eat beyond our usual limits. So even if we're only sampling each delicacy one at a time, it becomes extremely hard to keep track of how much we've eaten when we're so preoccupied with the task at hand. You've barely begun eating, and yet you're already feeling uncomfortably full. Why? The answer may lie in the empty plates before you that were piled high with potatoes, rice, pasta, and bread. While it may seem like a great deal to load your plate with generous servings of golden fried rice and dinner rolls as a way of getting the best bang for your buck, these starchy and gluten-rich foods are actually inexpensive fillers, strategically designed to satiate you quickly and affordably.
When I see somebody just filling up their plate with rice and pasta, I do think to myself, you're playing into the restaurateur's hands.
This is because starchy foods are rich in carbohydrates, which are broken down into glucose. Starch can be easy to overeat, and food companies, including buffets, capitalize on this by enhancing the starchiness of their offerings, triggering the immediate pleasure response in our brains. Coupled with the fact that buffets often exclude whole grain versions of these foods and prominently feature them at the beginning of the buffet line, we are all the more compelled to choose the options that add bulk to our meals at a minimal cost, while also failing to provide the nutritional value we expected. Of course, if that's what you like to eat, go for it. But if you find yourself feeling full after just one round at the buffet, those potatoes might be the reason why you don't have room for dessert. We all know the health implications of eating too much butter and cream, yet it is incredibly difficult to say no to these thick and appetizing fill-me-ups. Loaded with high-calorie and high-fat creams and butter, buffets offer a plethora of soups, stews, broths, and pasta, tempting us to indulge by the ladleful. These dishes often contain fattening sauces and come paired with carbs and fiber-rich food, such as potatoes, lentils, beans, or grains, which are meant to slow our buffet game down. Additionally, the liquid content of soups and stews also promotes a sense of fullness and keeps us satiated for longer periods. Don't be fooled by pasta dishes with seemingly light sauces or those healthy-looking soups. White sauces in pasta are intentionally enriched with saturated fats that make you full, while soups may be glazed with unhealthy oils. Instead, opt for red sauces like marinara for your pasta, and avoid bisques, as they often have a higher fat content. Vegetables like lettuce, cabbage, spinach, and broccoli, as well as proteins such as eggs, chicken, and pork, can be inexpensive if they are purchased in bulk or sold during peak season. The one thing they have in common is that they efficiently and economically fill us up. Even the seemingly harmless buffet salad bars that folks sometimes start with add bulk to your plate, contributing to that infamous fullness buffets are known for. So here are a few pro tips to keep in mind for your next buffet outing. Avoid the meatloaf, as it may contain cheaper cuts of meat padded with bread, and always question why that chicken pot pie is served in huge slices, while the fine meats come in small cubes. You know what they say, if you want to lose weight, going for a diet heavy in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains is the way to go.
I like fruit. Don't you like fruit? I like fruit.
However, when it comes to the all-you-can-eat buffet experience, it's not so straightforward. While it's true that fiber has numerous benefits, it's not advisable to partake in too much of it if your goal is to sample everything laid out in the buffet. Foods that are high in fiber take up the bulk of your stomach and promote a feeling of fullness that can last longer. In fact, they may even prolong the digestion process. Fiber also absorbs water and expands, leading to unwanted gassiness, which is the last thing we want in such a crowded social space. While it's unrealistic to absolutely ban green leaf veggies, fresh fruits, and grains at buffets, if you want to sample the richer foods a buffet has to offer, it's wise to leave room for the true stars of the show. Visiting a pizza ranch or Golden Corral is akin to tasting a glimpse of fried chicken heaven. And while buffet goers often forego all dietary rules as soon as they catch a whiff of that irresistible, crispy, golden goodness in the air, it might actually be detrimental to your buffet experience if you head straight for the foods that are still dripping in cooking oil. Buffets offer an array of fried delights, from meat coated in sugary sauces to potatoes, noodles, and dough balls swimming in oil and flavorings. They even take seemingly innocent vegetables like zucchini and dunk them in the fryer. While these deep-fried options may be plentiful, they are among the least healthy choices at buffets. Moreover, fried and crispy foods tend to be highly caloric and laden with saturated fats. The crispy texture and added fats make these foods incredibly enjoyable, resulting in faster consumption and creating a feeling of fullness more quickly. Additionally, chances are the oil used to deep fry these goodies may also be the cheapest option to fill up the fryers and might also be reused more than is ideal. Talk about health risks. While it's tempting to indulge in these fried delicacies, we advise you to enjoy them in moderation or give healthier menu alternatives a try. Striking that balance between stuffing yourself full and caring for your well-being is key. Sometimes the true allure of a buffet lies not in the savory dinner options, but in the irresistible indulgence of the dessert section. When we beeline for these treats, we do so with the intention to pamper ourselves and feel luxuriously decadent. However, it's worth being aware that sugary sweets are designed to trigger cravings for more sweet foods. And since desserts can be a particularly significant source of fat, sugar, and calories, it can be all too easy to consume them mindlessly. By associating the buffet experience with this feeling of indulgence, we willingly succumb to the temptations carefully placed by buffet owners. Hence, it's crucial to be mindful of our choices. Instead of opting for desserts we can have anytime, it may be a more rewarding experience to try something new and rare, like a specialty item. Alternatively, we can choose healthier dessert options, such as yogurt or fruit. The next time you feel disappointed for not reaching the dessert display, remember that you might actually be doing yourself a favor. Pace yourself. The chocolate fountain isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Though it may seem inconsequential, those seemingly innocent dollops of cream, spoonfuls of dressing, or sauce-coated proteins are actually hiding tons of unwanted elements that make us fuller quicker. For instance, that plate of broccoli and beef may appear harmless, but the sticky sauce accompanying it could be loaded with sugar and cornstarch. What about that roasted sesame and ranch salad dressing? They could be highly processed and contain elevated levels of sodium. No dish is the same without its sauces and dressings, so try opting for olive oil or vinegar-based dressings for your salads. Not only will you be more health conscious, but avoiding these hidden ingredients will give you more room to take on the buffet. If you're only paying attention to the solid food you are consuming and disregarding your beverage choices, it could explain why you're always quick to quit and miss out on the other delectable dishes at the buffet. The truth is, all those liquid calories add up, and all-you-can-eat buffets use 3 tricks to make you feel fuller quicker: bigger glasses, sugary drinks, and lots of water. The one thing that is essentially free at a buffet is water, so it makes sense that the glasses are huge enough to fill you up with liquid at a minimal cost. Moreover, sugary, empty-calorie drinks, which some people can't do without, also load up the calories and make restaurants more profit, as they're often sold separately and marked up significantly. Both these drinks are the least expensive items for restaurants to purchase. So how else did they leverage this free get-you-full-quick technique? By offering free refills, of course.
Despite the scandals, financial struggles, and COVID-19, all the restaurants on this list still exist in some form. Let's take a deeper look at the scandals that have rocked the world of buffet chain restaurants. Chi-Chi's 2003 hepatitis A outbreak was one of the biggest restaurant scandals ever. That fall, over 650 people who ate at a Pennsylvania Chi-Chi's Mexican buffet, or who were connected to people who ate there, ended up sick. In total, 9,000 people received immune globulin injections to stave off the infection. However, the real tragedy was that 4 people died, and 1 person needed a liver transplant. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, you can get hepatitis A from consuming food with even a tiny amount of the virus in it. It's also easily spread via close contact with someone carrying the virus. At Chi-Chi's, the culprit was raw green onions that the chain had sourced from Mexico. Even before the outbreak, Chi-Chi's was struggling and had recently filed for bankruptcy. Afterward, the court ordered the company to pay more than $40 million in damages to settle hundreds of victim lawsuits. Chi-Chi's never recovered from the incident, and the only remaining location is in Vienna, Austria. In July 2013, an employee at the Golden Corral in Port Orange, Florida, posted a YouTube video showing what the chain did when a food safety inspector showed up for a surprise inspection. Brandon Huber's video shows a rolling rack full of trays of raw hamburger patties and baby back ribs that the manager asked employees to take outside out of the inspector's sight.
This is what my company likes to do to get ready for inspection. They like to put their food by the dumpster.
It's a sweltering summer day, and although the rack is covered with a heavy plastic sheet, it's sitting beside the trash bin, and flies are circling. Removing possibly tainted meat during an inspection is bad enough.
After the inspectors left, they wheeled it back into the restaurant, and they tried to put it back into the coolers. They wanted me to cook it, and I refused to.
Eric Holm, the owner of the Golden Corral franchise in question, issued an official statement saying that all of the meat from the video was destroyed. He added that Huber helped with the disposal process, which was done before he released the incriminating video. The manager who asked employees to remove the meat was fired. But no matter what happened, customers told News 6 that they didn't want to eat at Golden Corral if there was a chance of getting unsafe food. In 1995, 2 fired waitresses filed a civil suit against the Pennsylvania Haas's Steak and Sea House, claiming it was an aggressive and uncomfortable work environment. One claim involved an employee mutilating, skewering, and deep frying a Barbie doll in what the waitresses said was a satanic ritual. Even so, employees continued to use the grease to fry food for another week, according to the lawsuit. The servers also claimed that male employees touched them inappropriately, told sexually explicit stories, made overt sexual remarks, and played music with explicit sexual content to make them uncomfortable. After the 2 complained to management, they were retaliated against. They were assigned the least desirable shifts when the restaurant didn't have many customers, and were given bad food to serve to customers, undercooked or containing bugs, for example, both of which cut into their ability to earn tips. After they were fired, both servers had trouble getting hired elsewhere because Haas's employees gave them bad references. It sounds horrible, but federal jurors ultimately rejected the claims at a 1998 trial, siding instead with the restaurant. Over the years, we've gotten used to handing over our credit cards when we pay for something, but when you let your card out of your sight, you put yourself at risk for what happened at a Sheridan, Colorado hoo-ha. In 2014, police reported arresting Michael Stevens for credit card skimming at the Hoo-Hot Mongolian barbecue grill where he worked. He might have gotten away with it for longer if he hadn't bragged to a fellow employee about what he was doing and showed her his skimming machine. She didn't find it amusing and promptly reported the crime. When the police investigated, they found gift cards with the card skimmer. Rather than leave a telltale trail of purchases made with stolen card numbers, Stevens used the numbers to purchase gift cards, then used the gift cards in place of cash to make purchases. Overall, the FBI estimates that card skimming thieves steal $1 billion per year, and a lot of these thefts happen without releasing your card to anyone. Instead, thieves attach a skimmer device on top of a legitimate card reader at a gas pump or ATM terminal.
Police say a man distracts the store clerk at the register while another guy quickly places a skimming device over the payment pad.
So be careful. These days, you don't even have to hand over your card to end up the victim of a skimming scheme. Ryan's Family Steakhouse has a history of workplace discrimination lawsuits. In 2000, a black employee named Dwayne Campbell alleged that he was passed over for a promotion in favor of a lower-ranked white employee. In a 2006 case, another black employee, Elvis Jenkins, said he was fired for wearing jeans to work instead of the required work pants, an infraction that white employees regularly got away with. He also alleged retaliation after his brother made a racial discrimination complaint against Ryan's as a customer.
We've had issues with people like you guys walking out before paying.
Both cases were eventually dismissed by the courts. But in 2009, claims by several Ryan's employees who alleged sexual and racial discrimination were upheld. 7 employees in Kentucky collectively received $500,000 in a settlement through an Equal Employment Opportunity Commission consent decree after filing a class action lawsuit. If you were a female employee, a black employee, or a white employee associated with black employees, other workers at Ryan's made your life miserable. Black employees were regularly subjected to racial hostilities and fired. Friends of black employees were called race traitors and worse, and women were subjected to sexual harassment of all sorts. If you visited a Ryan's buffet after the decree, you may have seen a court-ordered notice on display stating that employees would no longer be engaging in sexual and racial harassment and that they wouldn't be retaliating against anyone who reported problems. You probably haven't seen many old country buffets lately, which could be related to its reputation for multiple salmonella outbreaks. In 2010, a man named Christopher Gage suffered severe side effects from salmonella poisoning that were traced to his visit to an old country buffet in Wyoming. The salmonella turned into sepsis, and his kidneys failed, among other symptoms. Gage ended up with debilitating injuries related to digestion, mobility, and brain function. Ultimately, he was awarded an $11.4 million judgment, though was helped by the fact that the restaurant had been written up for 18 health code infractions just one day before Gage ate there. In 2014, salmonella struck again at an old country buffet in Minnesota. This time, it sickened 36 people over several days, one of whom ended up in the hospital. Ultimately, the outbreak source turned out to be dinner rolls, which were probably contaminated with salmonella from raw chicken in the kitchen.
Welcome. Are you ready to die?
In 2016, Old Country Buffet filed for its 3rd bankruptcy after a decline in sales, which was likely due to the ick factor of eating at a buffet that served up salmonella. According to court filings, Iowa Pizza Ranch co-owner Lawrence Vander Esch told some of his teenage employees that he would pay them for semen samples for scientific research. Only there was a catch. To ensure that there was no air in the sample, the teens would need to collect it in a condom, with Vander Esch's help. He then placed the samples on ice to reinforce his story, and one of the young men even traveled with Vander Esch to the University of Iowa hospitals where he claimed to be delivering a sample. Of course, it was all a ruse. During the criminal investigation, more than a dozen former employees alleged similar abuse by the businessman over a 20-year period. Vander Esch pleaded guilty in 2001 to 4 counts of third-degree sexual abuse. He then appealed his conviction, claiming he wasn't at fault because he got permission from each of his victims, even if the teens granted that permission under false pretenses. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison, but was released after 5 years for good behavior. In 2006, a judge vacated his convictions, citing a change in the law by the Iowa Supreme Court. If you're not familiar with check kiting, it involves writing bad checks from one bank account to increase the size of another bank account. If you have enough accounts, you could artificially inflate the size of each one so that it seems like you have real money, until someone catches onto your scheme. Fred Buxom owned 15 Ponderosa steakhouses when he was caught in what was possibly the biggest check-kiting scheme ever to hit Northern Ohio. He was writing checks from each of his 15 Ponderosa steakhouse accounts to pass around non-existent cash totaling about $824 million. The scheme lasted for 21 months before First Merit Bank realized it was losing millions. Over 44,000 checks were involved, with Buxom cashing more than $4 million in checks a day.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bank has just been robbed.
Buxom pleaded guilty in 2008 and ended up with a 33-month prison sentence. 9 of his 15 restaurants closed. You can still find Ponderosa steakhouses in the Midwest and the Central Atlantic states, and one outlier in Florida, but they don't have the presence they once did. You know a scandal is bad when there's a book written about it. The Black O, Racism and Redemption in an American Corporate Empire by Steve Watkins tells the story of Shoney's history of racial discrimination. The Black O, according to a summary of the book, refers to the practice the company had of filling in the O in Shoney's unemployment applications to indicate that it belonged to a minority and should be filed in the trash can. A 1989 complaint in Pensacola, Florida, referenced evidence against 211 managers and other top figures who followed these and other discriminatory practices. Black employees talked about working for the chain for years without promotions, being forced to work out of sight in the kitchen, or being fired for racially related reasons. Ultimately, about 40,000 employees, former employees, and job applicants benefited from the $105 million settlement. It was a landmark win in the fight against racism in restaurants. Nothing ruins your appetite for a restaurant buffet like knowing that a mass murder took place there. The slayings at an Oklahoma City sirloin stockade happened in 1978, but the memory has lingered, especially because mass murders were so rare at that time. 4 of the 6 employees killed were teenagers between the ages of 15 and 17. That night, Roger Dale Stafford, his wife, Verna Mae Stafford, and his brother, Harold Stafford, ordered the workers into the meat freezer, where they shot them in the head at close range, killing them all.
5 left dead in the freezer, the 6th would die at the hospital, and the killers, they had vanished.
Police initially had no suspects. The trio would likely have gotten away with the crime if Roger Stafford hadn't drunk-dialed the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation in 1979 to accuse his brother and then estranged wife of being responsible. Harold Stafford had died in a motorcycle accident a week after the murders. It turned out that the gun they used at Sirloin Stockade was the same one they used to kill a family of 3 in Purcell, Oklahoma, 24 days earlier. Ultimately, Roger Stafford was sentenced to death, while Verna Stafford got 2 consecutive life sentences. There is a true crime book about the killings called Sirloin Stockade Slaughter: Murder on the Run. In the summer of 2000, an E. coli outbreak at 2 Sizzler restaurants in Wisconsin sickened hundreds of people, hospitalized dozens, and ultimately claimed the life of a 3-year-old girl. 4 people, including the toddler who died, contracted hemolytic uremic syndrome, which destroys red blood cells and causes the kidneys to shut down. When officials tested the E. coli from the 2 restaurants, they were genetically related, which means that the bacteria found at both locations came from the same source. Ultimately, officials traced the source to raw taco meat and raw sirloin tri-tips, which had contaminated items on the buffet salad bar. One of the prime culprits seemed to be the watermelon, which is ever so tempting for young buffet goers.
Is all you can eat a dirty lie? Here's the cold hard truth about buffets and whether you really can pack your plate with high quality steak and lobster with no restrictions. Buffets are a hungry diner's dream come true. From salad bars to seafood and carving stations, plenty of buffet patrons eager to get their money's worth can surprise themselves with how much they can eat in a single sitting. But can a buffet kick customers out for eating too much? It turns out the answer is a bit complicated. For starters, all you can eat buffets employ a specific business strategy to increase the number of patrons in an establishment. Since a typical restaurant requires waitstaff to take orders and hand deliver each plate of food, it can only manage a certain number of customers in a single night. Buffets, on the other hand, largely run on a self-service system and usually feature dishes that are designed to be shareable.
All you can eat?
With easier food prep and fewer required workers, buffets can serve more meals to more customers while keeping labor costs low enough to make a profit. That's generally why all-you-can-eat buffets are a good deal for the famished diner and the restaurant at the same time. Of course, this formula requires a fine balance, and every once in a while, a customer may eat far more of the buffet's expensive beef or lobster tail than the restaurant anticipated. Usually, this is offset by other customers who prefer less costly items like chicken or pasta. However, once a customer is inside the buffet, there are very few restrictions a restaurant can implement to limit a particular diner's food access. Furthermore, kicking a patron out for overeating would undoubtedly be a breach of the implied contract.
But the sign said all you can eat.
While restaurants can't legally remove customers for perceived overeating, the long history of the buffet restaurant has brought certain tactics to light. In other words, there are more covert ways to minimize customer consumption and food waste than throwing out a diner mid-dinner. Using small serving plates is one common tactic that buffets use to make diners feel as though they've eaten more than they really have. Additionally, staff-operated carving stations limit the amount of meat each customer can get per trip and can put a social pressure against the same customer coming up multiple times. Placing cheaper, more filling items at the front of the buffet also catches hungry customers' attention, hopefully leaving them less hungry for the pricier products. Some buffets even offer dessert and beverage packages for an additional fee. The MGM Grand Buffet in Las Vegas, for example, offers separate alcohol packages for customers who prefer to drink, including unlimited beer and wine, well liquor, and frozen drinks. Of course, a restaurant must abide by legal limitations that prevent establishments from serving alcohol to intoxicated patrons. As far as food is concerned, however, any restrictions the buffet plans to enact must be specified before customers consent to dine there. Some buffets offer takeout options, but customers are typically limited to one container and offered a cheaper price. Generally speaking, buffet etiquette dictates, or at least implies, that customers can't take food home. Meanwhile, many all-you-can-eat sushi buffets charge customers for the rolls they order but don't eat. This helps reduce over-ordering and discourages customers from pushing their limits. If they do, however, these restaurants establish that the customer, not the buffet, will pay for the excess food. Ultimately, a buffet kicking customers out is only a breach of contract if its restrictions are poorly outlined at the time of purchase. While it's nearly impossible for a buffet to define what too much food is for a single person, enacting time restrictions for patrons is a reliable safeguard. For example, a company's website may specify a 2-hour time limit as a form of protection.
Looks like someone took the sign as a personal challenge.
Doreen, I'm just warming up.
While these time restrictions are rarely enforced, they give the buffet legal authority to remove patrons who are overstaying and maybe taking advantage of the system. These limits also incentivize customers to enjoy their food without trying to snag more than one meal.
Bottomless buckets of KFC, McDonald's hash browns and eggs for days, and Wendy's, fettuccine Alfredo? Hey 1980s, it's 2023 calling. We want our all-you-can-eat buffets back. The McDonald's breakfast buffet has become the stuff of legend. If you search online for this near-mythical bonanza, very little hard evidence shows up. But the people who remember are emphatic that the buffet existed.
Good morning, America. Come join us for breakfast.
One Redditor swears McDonald's had a breakfast buffet in the early 90s, featuring limitless sausage, hotcakes, square-shaped scrambled eggs, and hash browns. Another woman told Eater, "I'm a little relieved that I didn't imagine the breakfast buffet since no one ever knows what the I'm talking about when I bring it up." She also recalled there being scrambled eggs, pancakes, hash browns, sausage, and bacon. Another forum fan claims they read a post about an all-you-can-eat breakfast at McDonald's for just $10 for a family of 4, yet the message mysteriously vanished. Whether or not the McDonald's breakfast buffet actually existed, one thing is for sure, no one will be mad about unlimited sausage if they ever bring it back. While the Taco Bell all-you-can-eat buffet has never been officially confirmed by the chain, people swear that the glorious taco haven existed in the mid-90s. One Redditor recalled they would roll out a self-serve salad bar type thing and it would have all the Taco Bell ingredients: beans, hard and soft tortillas, flat tacos, beef, cheeses, etc. Basically, you made whatever you wanted out of the ingredients. Another Reddit user claims their Taco Bell buffet existed in the 80s and had a quote, full bar and real beef. Someone else confirmed that they used to drive over an hour to get there. One doctor who studied at Johns Hopkins told Eater that the Taco Bell Express located in her dorm had an all-you-can-eat option that let her order as many tacos and nachos as her heart desired without paying a cent, but the program vanished after a year. Of all of the fast food buffets that popped up in the 80s and 90s, the Wendy's Super Bar might be the most well-documented of them all. Although Italian and Mexican food isn't what first comes to mind for the burger chain, that's what it served.
You know, Wendy's Super Bar is great for families because there's something for everyone.
You could find fettuccine alfredo, crispy garlic bread made from hamburger buns, meat sauce, Spanish rice, refried beans, and taco fixings. There was even a salad bar that had desserts like butterscotch pudding. The craziest part? It cost only $3.69 per person. One TikTok commenter recalled, "I would beg my mom to take me to Wendy's for the salad bar." Back in 1992, Pizza Hut had already been expanding like crazy across America. That summer, corporate decided to experiment with a dine-in experience despite the fact that most of its growth was due to its delivery operation. Still, more than 2,000 all-you-can-eat buffets were opened across the nation.
I have eaten all I can eat. I'm really going to be sick. Eat me. You know you want to.
Despite the ridiculously good deal featuring endless pizza, pasta, and salad for a measly $3.99 per person, the Pizza Hut buffet just wasn't cutting it. The entire nation seemed to be moving away from communal sneeze guards, and the restaurant chain finally gave in. But we haven't forgotten all those fond memories. One fan tweeted, "Every 90s birthday party at Pizza Hut was lit. Wrapping it up with the ice cream buffet was god level. Simpler times." Apparently, there's still one left in Sydney, Australia, and it's the same as you remember it. One TikToker commented, "It's like a person who keeps an old car in perfect condition." Bottomless buckets of KFC fried chicken? It's still a reality somewhere. Many believe the KFC buffet was nothing more than made-up nonsense, but as one Redditor said, "I've had no luck searching on Google, but I swear I went to one once a couple years back. Been thinking about it ever since." Food Beast reported finding one in 2012 in Southern California with towers of mashed potatoes, drumsticks, gravy, mac and cheese, and biscuits. Another Redditor confirmed their town had a KFC buffet until the pandemic caused it to close. But YouTuber Tess Cooks For You posted a video in January 2023 of a KFC buffet in Pennsylvania, and a TikToker found a KFC buffet in Saskatchewan, Canada in October 2022. Another KFC buffet in Tokyo even offers an all-you-can-drink alcohol option. But food reviewer Strictly Dumpling, who waited 5 hours to eat there in March 2023, reported that the buffet was definitely missing something. There's this common theme of just dryness. I really wish this KFC had mashed potatoes and gravy. Louisiana used to be home to the only Popeyes buffet. The popular Southern chain had a few locations with buffets in the early 2010s, but that dwindled down to a single Lafayette location, giving it the crown as the only Popeyes buffet on Earth. Local outlet NOLA Weekend advertised the restaurant as the only Popeyes buffet in the world. It's right next door in Lafayette. Yes, that's right, a Popeyes buffet here. You only needed to hand over a crisp $10 bill to enjoy unlimited helpings of its famous fried chicken, biscuits, red beans, rice, green beans, mashed potatoes, and gravy. It even used to serve macaroni, spaghetti, and tacos. According to YouTuber Midnight Cravings, who visited the buffet before its demise, the chicken was spicy, crunchy, and was tossed in a tasty batter. Even the legendary Anthony Bourdain was said to have frequented the fast food buffet. But in December 2021, radio station Hot 107.9 reported the local favorite was finally eliminating its buffet amid COVID restrictions. As the saying goes, nothing gold can stay.
What do a vomitorium, the Olympics, and the World's Fair all have in common? It all comes down to all you can eat.
We are so fortunate to enjoy this marvelous food and drink.
Long before the rise of ancient Rome, people came together to eat large amounts of food in lavish ways. But the practice was so popular with ancient Romans that it sparked a long-held myth that feasts include a vomitorium, or a place where the Romans could go to vomit in order to prepare for the next course. This unpleasant part of their feast is now considered inaccurate, but no one doubts the ancient Romans' love of a lavish and continuous meal. The Celts used feasts to commemorate the changing of seasons. Spits of meat and stews were prepared, along with seasonally appropriate fruits and vegetables, served on plates often made of bronze. Of course, all of this was washed down with wine and mead, leading to a joyous and robust celebration. Feasts have not just been used as a way to eat a lot, but also to celebrate events and commune together. Weddings, holidays, and notable occasions across cultures have used feasts to mark important times. The practice that inspired the modern-day all-you-can-eat buffet comes from 16th century Sweden, at the time when feasts were popular to avoid underfeeding the guests. it became traditional to provide a Bronwyn's board to pre-game the meal. The Bronwyn's board was a display of appetizer-like foods such as meats and cheeses that guests could eat at their pleasure. The name Bronwyn's board literally means table of spirits, and while we are sure it kept people's spirits up, there was another kind of spirit that was an important part of the table, and that was Bronwyn. Bronwyn was a spiced vodka that accompanied the food and the Bronwyn's board. Later, additional alcohol, such as beer, would also be included. There is some thought that the Swedes got the idea of pairing appetizers and spirits from the Russians, who enjoyed eating small snacks while sipping vodka. However, it was in Sweden that the idea took on new life and place in society, setting it up to move from a precursor to the meal to becoming the meal itself. The Swedes were not the only ones who enjoyed the Bronwyn's board. This was also a popular meal tradition in Finland. By the 18th century, the Bronwyn's board was taking center stage and had become the meal itself, known as a smorgasbord.
I think the most important thing about Swedish food is the smorgasbord.
While in American vernacular, the term is often used to describe a large amount of something, in Sweden, it is specific to food and means butter goose table. One of the significant differences between the ancient feasts, the Bronwyn's board, the smorgasbords, and today's all-you-can-eat buffets is the position they held in society. Whereas today, we think of all-you-can-eat buffets as an economical choice based on quantity, not necessarily quality, back then, feasts and dining in this manner was something for the elite and was a trendy way to eat. Even today, the smorgasbord is something approached with a delicate hand and often features traditional items such as pickled herring. Not only are the foods eaten with more restraint, but they are also eaten in a specific order, with the eater moving through cold fish and cheeses, to room temperature ones, to warm ones, and finally on to dessert. Of course, Western Europe did not want to be left out of the food festivities. While having food served to you had been all the rage in fine dining for hundreds of years, in England and France, the idea of displaying food that people would pick from as they desired began to take off. These displays were often used for breakfast in the 18th century. This style of eating allowed for communing with guests or family members, and for more privacy than a traditionally served meal. This could be seen as the start of the breakfast buffet, now a staple in mid-range hotels across America. At this point, the foods were often served on a sideboard, a piece of furniture now used to house dishes and display food. The French word for this type of furniture is buffet. As the style of eating gained traction in the English-speaking part of the world, the term was adopted to refer to the meal itself instead of simply referring to the furniture it was served on. With the rising popularity of self-serve eating through the centuries, it was only a matter of time before the tradition gained popularity. Two key events helped spread the practice to America. The first was in 1912 when the Olympics were held in Stockholm, Sweden. During this time, instead of providing traditional waiter-provided restaurant service, restaurants opted to serve smorgasbords as a way to meet the high demands of tourists desperate for a meal. The second was in 1939 at the World's Fair in New York. In the Swedish pavilion at the fair, a restaurant called the Three Crowns offered a traditional smorgasbord to all those who came.
The World's Fair opened up the world to Americans.
Finally, the smorgasbord had landed on American soil, and the idea took off. In the first half of the 20th century, self-service lunch meals began to gain traction on both sides of the Atlantic. Hotels of the time recorded an uptick in hosted buffet-style luncheons. British hotel Runnymede housekeeping records note guests specifically requesting foods that did not require a knife, as guests would be standing to eat. Then, tough economic times hit. Between 1929 and 1939, America's economy hit a sustained low, now known as the Great Depression. During this time, many Americans struggled financially, often struggling with basic needs such as food. Even those who managed to retain wealth felt the struggle. This caused a shift in dining habits that favored buffet meals in the home. Buffets offered large quantities of food and did not require paid serving staff, perfect for the economics of the day. With buffets becoming more popular, the Chase Brass and Copper Company saw a potential business opportunity. The company designed an early electric buffet that kept the food hot and safe to eat, utilizing electric coils that heated a tray of water placed under pans of food, not dissimilar to what is still used today for warm food. The electric buffet was released in 1933. While risky, the electric buffet was ultimately a success, finding a place in many people's homes. Emily Post, an etiquette writer of the day, wrote a short booklet titled How to Give Buffet Suppers to help promote the buffet server. Without this innovation due to the Depression, the groundwork for restaurants' all-you-can-eat buffets would not have been set. All of these societal changes and innovations bring us to the first all-you-can-eat buffet restaurant in America. In the 1940s, Las Vegas was just becoming what it is today. Casinos began opening, with El Rancho Vegas among them, and with Herb McDonald as an employee. As with many innovations, there is a mythos around the idea that started it all. McDonald was said to be working late at night when he got hungry. He put together a cold-cut board, perhaps inspired by Smorgasbord at the 1939 World's Fair. He began eating from it at the bar, and people passing by took notice and wanted to indulge. This gave McDonald an idea, and in 1945, he opened the Buckaroo Buffet with El Rancho Vegas. Buckaroo Buffet is widely considered to be the first all-you-can-eat buffet restaurant in the United States. Buckaroo Buffet was open 24 hours a day and cost consumers only $1. While the buffet itself did not earn money, it proved positive for business for the casino and helped inspire generations of all-you-can-eat buffets to come. The popularity of the all-you-can-eat buffet continued to grow through the next several decades. No longer were buffets consigned to home parties or casinos. Independent buffets and chain restaurants began to spring up. Even restaurants that had a la carte menus also began to offer buffets. The enticement of all-you-can-eat options was just too much for the populace to resist, so more and more consumers opted for the buffet. This, of course, was great for restaurants, as buffets did not require the same level of waitstaff as traditional dining. It also worked out for consumers, who saw a fixed-price all-you-can-eat buffet as a good economic choice. The 1980s became a golden age for American all-you-can-eat buffets. Popular chains sprang up, such as Golden Corral, which was founded in 1973, and Cece's, which was founded in 1985. Restaurants such as Pizza Hut began offering buffets, and more hotels made it standard practice, especially for breakfast. Buffets were the hot food option. Nothing lasts forever though, and not long after the height of the 1980s, buffets started to decline. Part of this was due to an overabundance. Expansions and franchising caused an explosion of buffets across the country, but with so much supply, even the high demand was not enough to keep up. All-you-can-eat buffets are notoriously low-margin endeavors. Restaurateurs bank on quantity over quality and specifically design the layout of buffets to push low-cost and high-filling foods over pricier ones. By 1998, 26% of American buffets had closed their doors. And this was just the beginning. Trends continued downward, and in 2016, once popular chain Hometown Buffet filed for bankruptcy. Pizza Hut, while still operational, has for the most part closed the buffets for its remaining American locations. All of this seemed to spell the end of all-you-can-eat buffets. It was not just the oversaturation of the market that caused the decline of the all-you-can-eat buffet, but a change at how Americans eat. First came new diets focusing on low fat, low carbs, low sugar, or whatever the diet of the day was. As America moved into the 2000s, there was an increasing emphasis on diet culture, which is now widely recognized as unhealthy and harmful. These increasingly restrictive food trends did not bode well for the buffet market based on excess. Then, of course, food trends shifted from quantity to quality, with consumers caring about the origins of their food. Farm-to-table restaurants and high-class cuisine came to the forefront, leaving behind the food on a hot plate in a bar. It is also possible that the rise in food allergies encouraged people to stay away from the buffet. With concerns about cross-contamination
inflation and uncertain food sources, it is easy to see why the buffet is not always the first choice for someone with food allergies. The all-you-can-eat buffet industry was already suffering. Then came what could have been the final nail in the coffin, the COVID-19 pandemic. Many sectors suffered during the pandemic, which caused mass shutdowns, but perhaps none were hit harder than the restaurant industry.
None of us really want to look at a buffet right this second.
Some estimates say that by 2021, 90,000 restaurants had closed in some way due to COVID-19. As an already struggling industry, buffets at first appeared to be worse off than other restaurant types. Concerns about safety related to touching equipment and shared food meant that buffets suffered. In 2021, Old Country Buffet's parent company filed for bankruptcy. However, other companies, such as Golden Corral, were able to shift how they did business, offering delivery and no-touch buffets where customers are served by employees, so as to avoid mass amounts of strangers touching the same utensils. While these restrictions did not last for the long haul, and most are back to self-service, they helped keep the company afloat during a difficult time. Golden Corral also maintained stricter health and safety guidelines. While Golden Corral stayed open, some experts were not convinced that these shifts would ultimately bring back the buffet. However, the experts may have spoken too soon. As restrictions on the COVID-19 pandemic lifted and people went back to a new normal, Americans were hit with economic difficulties. Left over from the pandemic came supply chain issues and inflation, which saw record increases in the price of food. Restaurant and grocery store prices kept creeping up, and Americans ate out less. In parallel to the Great Depression, we are now seeing the buffet profiting off this change in diet and economics. While full-service restaurants and fast casual restaurants saw a decrease in patronage, the unlikely underdog of the all-you-can-eat buffet saw an increase. Chains such as Golden Corral reported revenue increases between 2020 and 2023. This upturn is at least partially attributed to a return to Americans looking for a value in the quantity of food. All-you-can-eat buffets have always been about quantity at a fixed price, making it a good option for those looking to eat out on a budget. Of course, the landscape of the buffet has also changed in ways to attract the younger generation too. More care is now often taken with plating to make food Instagrammable, and the many buffets are going further than ever to reduce costs related to food waste. All this has helped bring the once floundering buffets into the 21st century, where they have once again become an American staple.